you always. Ladies and gentlemen, today's topic is Mr. President Abugrago Azoka. Let me start by reminding everybody how ungrateful the Kusasis are, how ungrateful Aninchema Asigiri Abugrago Azoka is. A few days ago, the Kusasis, on their usual attitude of killing anybody they see anywhere, Mamprusi, Moshi, Dagomba, Hausa. The Mamprusis, however, had the opportunity to retaliate, to kill two Kusasis in their territory, but they handed those two Kusasis to the municipal chief executive, who also handed those two Kusasis to Aninchema Abugrago Azoka. Unfortunately, I saw a video where these two Kusasis were recounting what happened, but they never acknowledged the fact that the Mamprusi saved their life. Abugrago Aninchema Azoka never also acknowledged the fact that the Mamprusi saved two Kusasis' life in the territories of the Mamprusis. But anyway, I'm not surprised, and I don't expect any of you to be surprised. Now we know who the Kusasis are. Let's live as they want us to live, but I'll keep on appealing to you not to behave like the way the Kusasis are behaving. Mamprusis don't behave like the way the Kusasis are behaving. If it is at the battlefield, if the Kusasis come after you at the battlefield, kill them. Outside the battlefield, don't kill anybody. Live in peace. But anybody who attacked you, kill that person at the battlefield. That is what our forefathers do. So don't kill any Kusasi person outside the battlefield, ladies and gentlemen. That is my appeal for you. Let's stay on the side of peace and truth. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to address the president. That is why this topic is titled Mr. President Abugrago Azoka. Mr. President, for 235 years, from 1721 to 1956, Bawku was peaceful, vibrant, productive, and united under the reign of 12 different Mamprusi Bawku Nabas. Mr. President, from 1957 to 1966, Bawku had two chiefs, a Mamprusi man enskined by the Nayiri, as always been the case since 1721, and a younger man called Abugrago Azoka, chosen by the Kusasis and recognized by the CPP government also as Bawku Naba. Mr. President, in 1966, Abugrago Azoka was removed from office by the NLC D112 for holding himself as Bawku Naba, and a new Bawku Naba from the Mamprusi tribe was enskinned by the Nayiri. Mr. President, in 1983, Abugrago Azoka petitioned the Chieftaincy Tribunal of the National House of Chiefs to restore him as the legitimate Bawku Naba on the ground that NLCD 112 was void and of no effect. Mr. President, the Chieftaincy Tribunal dismissed the case of Abugrago Azoka and declared him a commoner, in other words, a non-holder of traditional status. Your Excellency, Mr. President, it might interest you to know that Abugrago Azoka died in 1983 as a commoner. He didn't die as a chief. Your Excellency, Mr. President, in 1984, however, during the PNDC regime, the PNDC government passed a PNDC Law 75, which appointed Abugrago Azoka's son, Aninchema, as Bawku Naba. Mr. President, since 1983, Bawku has never been the same because of chieftaincy disputes between the Mamprusis and the Kusasis. Your Excellency, Mr. President, it might also interest you to know that in 1996, the said PNDC Law 75, the very law that made Aninchema the Bawku Naba, the very person that you declared as the only Bawku Naba that you know, Mr. President, in 1996, the law that made him Bawku Naba was repealed by an Act of Parliament, Act 516. Mr. President, technically and legally, therefore, Abugrago Azoka Aninchema is not a legitimate chief. Your Excellency, in 2003, the Supreme Court instructed the Mamprusi not to come back to the Supreme Court under the said PNDC Law 75, which appointed Abugrago Azoka Aninchema as Bawku Naba, and again, which was repealed by Act 516. The reason for the Supreme Court decision is that the Act has already been repealed. I mean, the PNDC Law 75 has already been repealed. And so the Mamprusi should never come back to the Supreme Court under that Act, which is understandable because the PNDC Law 75 is non-existent anymore. Your Excellency, currently, there is no law in Ghana declaring Aninchema Abugrago Azoka as Bawku Naba, even though he is gazetted. But there is no law, and I repeat, there is no law in Ghana, not even the Supreme Court ruling in 2003, declaring Aninchema Abugrago Azoka as the Bawku Naba. No, or barring the Nayiri from inskinning Bawku Naba. There is no such law in Ghana, Your Excellency. Mr. President, on or about November last year, 2001, the Mamprusis had put in place plans to perform the funeral of their late chief, the late Bawku Naba Adam Zangbeo, as customs and traditional practice of the Mamprusis required of them. Your Excellency, on 21st November the same year, last year, the regional minister, Stephen Yaku, the gentleman you appointed, invited the Mamprusis in Bolga and surprisingly served them an expiry motion injuncting them from performing the said funeral. It must also be noted that the validity of the said injunction served on the Mamprusis was only for 10 days. In other words, after 10 days, the validity of that injunctions or ex parte motions becomes void and no effect. Your Excellency, on that same day, the very day the Mamprusis were served with the summons, gunshots were fired around the outskirts of Bawku Township, where the Kusasis live. Your Excellency, if you know Bawku map very well, you know that the Mamprusis and other minority tribes, like the Hausas, the Gombes, the Moshis, the Farfares, all lived in Bawku Township. And the Kusasis lived outside the Bawku Township. So the gunshots were fired outside the Bawku Township. So logically, in Kusasi territories. Your Excellency, the next day, that is on 22nd And of course, 23rd November, the firing of gunshot intensified outside these areas, outside the township of Bawku, where the Mamprusis and other tribes except the Kusasis live. On 24th November, Your Excellency, Mr. President, the Minister of Interior imposed a curfew on the people of Bawku starting from 4 p.m. to 6 a.m. The same day, a tractor belonging to a Mamprusi was set ablaze in a Kusasi territory, Your Excellency. The Mamprusis, however, didn't allow that to provoke them into acting violently, Your Excellency. On 21st December, Mr. President, on 21st December, a group of Kusasi bandits again stopped a car in their territory, and the car belonged to a military officer. The Kusasi set the said car ablaze, claiming that they suspected the car was carrying firearms belonging to the Mamprusis. Your Excellency, the matter was reported to the police by the Mamprusis, and up to date, the security agencies, especially the police, has done nothing about it. Likewise, the tractor that was set ablaze, Your Excellency. Mr. President, on 27th December, 2 days after Christmas, at about 4 p.m., a full-scale ethnic conflict ensued between the Kusasis and the Mamprusis. Prior to that, audio recordings from the Kusasis indicating that they were preparing to start conflict in Bawku were spread across, and I drew the attention of the security agencies about this on my program, on this very program, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, Mr. President, want on the same, on 28th, Your Excellency, sorry, on 28th November, at about 3:30 p.m., two bandits believed to be operating for the Kusasis came into Bawku Township with a gun and shot at two Mamprusis. One of them died, and the other one sustained gun injuries. Also, a woman by name Rukaya Audu, who is neither a Mamprusi nor a Kusasi, was shot dead at Dadure because a group of bandits came to the house looking for his father. And then the allegation is that his father is supporting the Mamprusis. I mean, his husband is supporting the Mamprusis. So they didn't find this gentleman and decided to shoot and kill the wife, forcing her and her children to seek refuge in the homes of Mamprusis. Your Excellencies, it might also interest you to know that very embarrassing, very disgracefully, a group of Kusasi women decided to issue a press conference when, without shame to their womanhood, they alleged and accused the Mamprusis for being the brain behind the killing of this woman. Logically, if it was the woman, the Mamprusis who killed the husband of this woman, the woman and his children will not come to the Mamprusis for refuge, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, I also wish to inform you that on 9th January this year, some Kusasi bandits again attacked a vehicle around Pusga, arguably in a Kusasi territory, around the Pusga forest, and shot at the driver of the vehicle, one Mahadi, who also got injured at the leg and was admitted at the Bawku hospital. Your Excellency, the next day, a cargo truck traveling from Bawku to Tamale was ambushed by the Kusasis at Bazwa, also a Kusasi territory, and shot and killed the driver, one Tijani. On the 11th of January, Mr. President, at a funeral house in Zongo, one Audu welder was also shot and killed by one of these bandits. Mr. President, a few days ago, a statement on the current happenings in Bawku issued and endorsed by Aninche Asigiri Abugrago Azoka, the very person you said you know he is the only Bukunaba. Probably I should say your good friend, Mr. President, stated among other things that they, the Kusasis, would operate their own Kusasi market and not join all the other tribes in the Bawku Central Market. Understandably, the Bawku Central Market historically was founded by the Mamprusis, the owners of Bawku. Mr. President, in that same statement, the Kusasi rejects the call on your government to set up any commission or committee to probe into the Bawku chieftaincy because, according to them, the Mamprusis don't respect legal and due process in resolving issues. The Kusasi cited the 2003 Supreme Court ruling, which your law firm was representing the Mamprusis in that case. The Kusasi also cited the purported injunction Stephen Yakubu, the very person you appointed as the regional minister for Upper East Region, a Kusasi, on the injunction served on the Mamprusis. The Kusasis also cited these two documents. They added that there is no similarity between the chieftaincy dispute in Bawku and the resolved the Gumba chieftaincy dispute. Your Excellency, these are all nothing but propaganda. Your Excellency, this propaganda, as far as the 2003 Supreme Court ruling is concerned, is initiated and fueled by two of your ministers, the Interior Minister, Ambrose Derry, and then the Chieftaincy Minister. They are doing the biddings of the Kusasis. They are the very people who are misleading Ghanaians, misleading the Kusasis, and misinforming the Kusasis that the Supreme Court ruling in 2003 is in favor of the Kusasis. Your Excellency, you know very well that this is never true. Your Excellency, the Mamprusis respect legal and due process in resolving issues. There are evidence to show that. And the 1983 case that the Kusasis petitioned the National Chief of the National House of Chiefs is one reason. Besides that, in 1958, when a commission of inquiry probed into the Bawku issue and came out with its findings, which the Mamprusis disagreed, the Mamprusis did not resort to conflict as the Kusasis usually do. The Mamprusis went to the High Court for legal redress, and that has always been the conduct of the Mamprusis. Even the Supreme Court ruling that the Kusasis are referring to, it was the Mamprusis who initiated that in 2003. And it was also the same Mamprusis who withdrew that case. You are very well aware of this fact, Your Excellency. So obviously, the Mamprusis are law-abiding. They respect legal and due process in resolving their issues. And that is what the Mamprusis want you, your government, to do before your tenure of office ends, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, in that statement also, Aninchema Abugrago Azoka stated that Bawku is not part of Mamprugu. In other words, the Bawku is not under the authority of the Najiri. The Najiri, you very well know that his kingdom is older than the kingdom, the Ashanti kingdom. Your Excellency, facts and evidence historically doesn't support this. The Mamprusis were the first to live in Bawku officially from beginning 1721. There was no single Kusasi anywhere near Bawku that we know. And Your Excellency, you can ask the Kusasis to provide you the name, a name of a Kusasi, just one Kusasi, who was in Bawku around 1721 when Na Ali Atabia came there as a chief. If the Kusasis are able to do that and provide where that Kusasi lived around that time and the, uh, the history of his family up to date, I think the Mamprusis will not have any problem conceding that indeed Bawku is for the Kusasis. I have asked the question that who was the Tindana in 1721 in Bawku? Who was the Bawku Tindana when the Mamprusi came there? Up to date, no Kusasi, not even Aninche Masigiri Abugrago Azoka has addressed this issue, Your Excellency. Again, the issue of Aninche Abugrago Azoka being a younger, he has never come out to deny it because he knows that when he do so or when he does so, we will provide evidence and facts and help him trace his root to his younger ancestry. So, Your Excellency, let me repeat, Aninchema Abugrago Azoka is not a Kusasi. He is a younger. Your Excellency, Mr. President, it is also worth noting that the Pusiga Naba, in a radio interview, stated that the Supreme Court in 2003 ruled in favor of the Kusasi. The said Supreme Court ruling that I just mentioned to you, the very case that your law firm represented the Mamprusis. According to the Pusiga Naba, the ruling was in favor of the Kusasis. But what is more important, Your Excellency, Mr. President, the Pusiga Naba said, your government issued a white paper to that effect. I am not aware of any such white paper. The Nairi is not aware of any such white paper. The Mamprugu Kingdom is not aware of any such white paper. Neither any Mamprusi or any Ghanaian. Your Excellency, if indeed it is true that your government has issued a white paper on the Supreme Court ruling declaring that Abugrago Azoka Aninchema is the Bawku Naba, please let us know and we shall be grateful, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, the said Pusiga Naba also said the Kusasis are Tendanes, hence the rightful people to be Bawku Naba. And according to the Pusiga Naba, that was even how come the 1958 Opoku Afari Commission decided that the Kusasis are the owners of the Bawku land. Indeed, that is true. That is what the commission said. And it was that same decision that the Mamprusis challenged at the High Court. But Your Excellency, I have read the document, the committee's report, and there is nowhere in the report that Abugrago Azoka, who was the claimant then, was able to establish that as at 1721, at the time the Mamprusis came to Bawku and founded Bawku, his forefathers were living in Bawku. Abugrago Azoka hasn't been able to do, wasn't able to do that. And then Chairman Abugrago Azoka hasn't been able to do that. No, any single Kusasi, not even in the history of the Kusasi written for them by JKG sign, that any Kusasi as a Tindana, or even not a Tindana, was mentioned as the ones living in Bawku before the Mamprusis came. There is no such evidence. So therefore, it can never be true that the Mamprusis, the Kusasis, are the Tindanes of Bawku and ought to be the chiefs of Bawku. Your Excellency, contrary, the land Bawku indeed belongs to Nagwewa, who lived and died in Pusga, 13 kilometers away from Pusga, from Bawku. And his son, Tohogo, the first Nayiri, after the death of Nagwewa, who founded the Mamprugu kingdom, inherited his father's land. And that is how come that Bawku is under the Mamprugu kingdom. Your Excellency, to conclude, I wish to respectfully appeal to you personally and appeal to your government to distance yourself as an individual, as the president, and distance your government from meddling with chieftaincy dispute, especially the Bawku chieftaincy dispute, or seemed to be taking sides with one feuding faction for political reasons or out of deliberate attempt to ignore the truth and fact of the dispute in Bawku. Your Excellency, you know the late Adam Amandi very well. You know the late Imoro Bila very well. Your Excellency, these two gentlemen are not strangers to you. And there is no way that Your Excellency, one will say that you don't know much about Bawku. Your Excellency, I also want to respectfully appeal to you and your government to listen to the call to set up a committee or commission of eminent chiefs similar to the Dagbon one, led by none other person but the Ashanti Hini, to resolve the Bawku chieftaincy disputes once and for all. Your Excellency, that is the only way out if you want to leave a legacy as the only president in the history of Gold Coast and the Republic of Ghana to have resolved the Bawku issue forever, just as you were able to do in Gabon, which I must say that was started by your predecessor in our party, His Excellency President Kufuor. So, Your Excellency, that is the only way out. That is the only way out, Your Excellency. And so if the Kusasis are saying that they will reject any such initiative from your government, it simply tells you who they are. It simply tells you that they don't want peace in Bawku. It simply tells you that they don't want the issue to be resolved. They enjoy and benefit from the current situation, whereby anytime the MPP is in government, they will spark conflict and turn around and blame the Mamprusis for always doing so whenever MPP is in government. Your Excellency, the question is, why do they even say so? They say so because they know that they, the Kusasis, are for NDC. They know that they, the Kusasis, are for NDC. And they also know that the MPP, the Mamprusis, are the foundation and root of MPP, not just in Bawku, but in the Upper East region. Excellency, Your Excellency, I must also appeal to you and state by stating that the Mamprusis have confidence and trust in any committee or commission of eminent chiefs that will be led by the Asante Hene. The Mamprusis have trust and confidence in such a committee and any findings, recommendations, and proposal that will come from that committee. The Mamprusis are prepared to accept any findings, any recommendations, and of course, any proposal that the eminent chiefs acting or performing the role of a commission or a committee probing into the Bawku chieftaincy dispute. We, the Mamprusis, are ever ready to cooperate, and not just to cooperate, but to accept whatever decision comes from such a committee or commission. Your Excellency, we, the Mamprusis, will continue to be on the path of peace and truth. We will continue to support you. We will continue to support the MPP. But we shall not tolerate any disrespect to the Nayiri, to Mamprugu. We shall not also tolerate any deliberate attempt to disunite Mamprugu, to disenfranchise the Mamprusis in Bawku, and to stab the Mamprusis at the back. We shall not, respectfully, Your Excellency, succumb to any such things. But Your Excellency, I must say that we, the Mamprusis, for now, are happy that your two ministers, the Interior Minister and the Chieftaincy Minister, have advised themselves wisely to stop peddling lies, to stop doing propaganda for the Kusasis regarding the 2003 Supreme Court ruling. Your Excellency, on this note, I will say I pray for you. I pray for your government to succeed. I pray that you should continue to build a united Ghana. You should continue to roll out policies and programs that would benefit Ghanaians collectively. But Your Excellency, I must also state that the security agency seems to be helpless in protecting the other tribes, including the Mamprusis, from the harassment and intimidation of the Kusasis. Your Excellency, we seem to believe that your government, through the action and inactions of your Interior Minister, the Chieftaincy Minister, and the Upper East Regional Minister, have pampered our brothers and sisters, the Kusasis. take the law into their hands, to believe that they can do whatever they want. Your Excellency, I'm saying this because if you ask for a report from the regional minister, if you ask for a report from the interior minister, if you ask for a report from the chieftaincy minister, if you ask for a report from the municipal chief executive, if you ask for a report from the Kusasis, in that report, you would be told that, yes, the Kusasis have decided to prevent other tribes from entering into the Bawku township with their goods to do business. Your Excellencies, that is what your government should immediately attempt to address. The security agencies must be empowered to stop the Kusasis from blocking roads at highways, at Misiga, and all other places that prevent other citizens from Ghana across from coming into Bawku Township, where the Mamprusis and other tribes like the Hauses, the Bises, the Farfares, the Dagombes, to mention but a few, live peacefully and happily. Your Excellency, on this note, I wish to say thank you and may God bless you. May God bless Ghana and may God bless Mamprugu. Thank you, Your Excellency.